You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here are your hosts, is Kaleb McChesney and Ryan Moore.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Foxboro BeatCast. I'm your host, Kaleb McChesney. Alongside me after a quick week off, mental health day, we all have them. Ryan, how are you on this victory Wednesday after the Patriots beat the Bears 19-3?
It feels great, man, to know that the Patriots are back to getting coaches fired and whooping ass. That was quite the win, man.
That's right. Shane Waldron, old friend of the New England Patriots, out as Bears offensive coordinator. They've gone through two offensive coordinators in back-to-back years, all before Thanksgiving. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the win, our takeaways, our thoughts. We'll get into the Rams this week. Thinking about going to that game.
Be a decent game to go to. I mean,
right?
shit, like tickets
fun.
like reasonable or
yeah. You can get inside lower bowl for under 200.
Oh shit, okay, that's not bad for a Patriots game.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I had Elcio, who was on last week, prepare 10 questions for me and you to run through. So that should be very fun. But you ready to just dive right into this?
Absolutely, let's go.
Like an Olympic swimming pool. All righty. Well then, the New England Patriots once again beat the Bears 19-3. Drake Maye, 15 of 25, 184 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And let's just give a round of applause to the offense. Drake Maye was not your leading rusher this week.
The lowest bar in history. But
Ramondre beat him by 50 yards.
Dude. It's like it's literally like a shittier version of the 2015 Patriots that everyone got hurt.
When Brady is leading your team in rushing, it's a little less embarrassing, or it's a little more embarrassing because Brady has never been able to scramble for his life.
Yeah.
So
we have like a 40-year-old Steven Jackson trying to like hit the hole, and he can't do it like he used to.
So shout out to Ramondre Stevenson going for 20 carries and 74 yards, an average of 3.7. Not great, not awful. Your leading receiver, Austin Hooper, 3 catches, 64 yards. Demario Douglas right behind him, 4 for 50. Kayshon Boutte, 4 for 47. Jalen Polk, 1 for 2, and he caught a touchdown. So there's that. On defense, you held DeAndre Swift to 59 yards, 3.7 a carry. That's a huge improvement. Caleb Williams, looking like a far fetch from what he was promised to be, 16-30, 120 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, a QBR of 13.5, taking 9 sacks. Lots to unpack here, Ryan. Let's just get right to it. What are the things you want to dive into first?
Well, I like to give credit to the defense, first and foremost, because I think they played their best game this season, albeit against a team that's literally just shit-canned their OC because of how poorly they've played. But they actually looked like a cohesive unit for once. Like, everybody was getting theirs, constant pressure on Caleb Williams. Good, they neutralized a pretty good receiving core in Chicago there. They dominated the game. What was it, 9 sacks?
9 sacks.
Yeah.
Do you want the guys who got them?
I believe Jennings got a couple. Jennings got like 2.
Tavai got 1. Jeremiah Farms got 1. Anthony Jennings got 2. Keon White got 1. Dietrich Wise got 2. Del Pettis got 1. Brandon Schooler got 1.
Okay. Brandon Schooler.
1 list.
Here's the take. You know what?
What do you think about the Longhorn package? Yeah.
I was going to say, man, I actually think they should use Brandon Schooler more on defense. Not as he probably has limitations. I mean, there's a reason why he was on special teams before this, but he's their fastest player. And man, he plays aggressive. If you spy him, like how I remember they used to have Jamie Collins got spy, I remember he would spy aggressively against Andrew Luck. Granted, Collins was obviously a 3-down linebacker, a little bit different, but if you use Brendan Schooler as a spy, I mean, that's a pretty damn good spy. He's fast. He's aggressive. He's very disciplined though, like in his aggression. Um, and he'll make a lot of mobile quarterbacks kind of stand in the pocket and have to make like decisions they're not used to making because a lot of these guys, a lot of the modern quarterbacks, just like operating out of the pocket, moving out, and all that. Keep them kind of uncomfortable. If he does that, like that's a good role for him, man. I like it. I like Brendan Schooler. I like that they actually got a little innovative.
Yeah, I don't think that you'll be seeing him much on defense this week because Matthew Stafford's not outrunning anybody at this point in his career. But in 2 weeks, you got the Miami Dolphins in Miami. You have Anthony Richardson for now.
That's a perfect Brendan Schooler game.
I can't wait for the Anthony Richardson game. Like that's gonna like prove if this team can win games down the stretch because Anthony Richardson is a quarterback that you should be able to beat the crap out of because I just think he stinks. So you got to be able to stop Jonathan Taylor, and you got to force the Colts to throw. If they can do that, I think that we're looking up. So it'll be a tall task. Yeah. So let's get into some things that I wrote down. The rushing offense was marginally improved, as I said. Drake Maye was not your leading rusher. Ramondre Stevenson, 20 carries, 74 yards. Antonio Gibson, 5 for 26. Even JaMychal Hasty, 6 for 20. Yeah, what do you make of this? Is this more a case of the Bears' run defense is really bad, or the Patriots' rushing offense finally got something together?
I honestly, there were some runs that Ramondre could have had that would have been like he could have broke them out if he actually hit the holes properly. I'm gonna go with the Bears' run defense. Just isn't that great because I watched like there was I think he ran into DeMontre Jacobs when he's trying to cut one outside or like cut one inside. That would have been like a long run, man. Like Ramondre just hasn't been that great this year. I Hasty's whatever. There's a reason why he was available. Antonio Gibson's a non-factor at this point, which is really disappointing. Yeah, I'd say Marcelo Bears' run defense just kind of stinks, unfortunately.
That's what's scary about this whole thing. Like on both sides of the ball, I don't know if this says a lot about you if you're the Patriots. It says a lot about the Bears.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to measure. Like, are the Patriots finally putting it together, or are the Bears just really bad? Is this defense finally putting it together, or are the Bears just incompetent? Like,
I think it's like things you can look back on and be like, that's optimistic, like, hey, we talked about like all the sacks they got. Granted, Caleb Williams caused a lot of them, but like they generated pressure and all this shit. You can look at Drake Maye and say, hey, like this is a guy that's ascending, even though he might make a mistake or two a game that's brutal. Like it's not like
that interception was bad.
It was. He has some of them, but then he has the play that really could have counted if Osborne had better awareness. That like who the fuck does that? Like that's like a Josh Allen, like Mahomes type of play, like where you're rolling out. There's nobody
Don't
there.
You dare mention Mahomes on the Patriots podcast.
What?
Don't you dare mention Mahomes on the Patriots podcast. That's my job.
The one that criticizes
my job
a little harder, but no, like that's a rare type of play. It's rare talent. It's a great play. Yeah, I see that as a positive. You know what else I see as a major positive?
What's that?
That I think we should look out for coming down the stretch is Kayshon Boutte.
Yep, he's bringing together some good games. Yeah,
this is a drastically different like player maturity wise on and off the field than last year. I mean, we looked at like obviously I'm not gonna rehash it, but he got arrested in the offseason. We know that. Had some troubles at LSU. Didn't really see the field his rookie year because his game just wasn't translating to the pro level. This year, you see it maturity wise. You see it, on the field every single time he catches a ball, and it's situational awareness 101. He's doing like the Larry Fitzgerald, pick up the ball, hustle to the ref, let's go, let's go, let's go. I think we're seeing a player that's growing up. Now, I hope I stay right about this because he has had these issues for a reason, but with the growth and maturity and the talent he does have, would you be shocked if he starts booming these next couple of weeks?
Define booming.
Like he starts stringing together at least 6+ catches, maybe like 100 yards. You know what I mean? Like looks like an actual like receiver 2, receiver not. I don't want to go as far as receiver 1, but like you know what I mean? Like a guy that you can actually have as a piece of your future. Than like young question mark.
I will say 100 yards would surprise me in this offense, but being a reliable target, getting the targets and getting the catches at 6 to 8, I know that wouldn't shock me at all. But I think 100 yards is a bit steep.
Yeah, but I mean, like all it would take is like we saw him already like rinse Derek Stingley, and that's not just like a Brian Timms play of his where like that's your only career highlight. I'm sorry, that's your
A great highlight at that.
It is a damn good highlight, but like he has that capability where he can hit a home run. And May clearly is confident in him. I mean, shit, like the overtime interception versus Tennessee last week. Wasn't on the pod to talk about it, but he trusted Keyshawn Boutte to go get the ball. It didn't happen, but like I think May trusts this guy, and that trust is gonna pay off.
I think the second Boutte puts in a little more effort on plays like that interception.
It was great. It was a criticizable play, but
if he puts in more effort and we see continued effort, I think for sure he could pan out to be a gem that we got in the late rounds. One of the last things I want to get to about this game, not to like shred him because it is his only like 4th or 5th career start. This was Drake Maye's worst game as a pro.
Think so? I mean,
I don't think it's relatively close.
He had some moments of like, but like
the interception was bad on a lot of the pressures that Drake Maye had. I had about half of them being his fault, like him just seeing phantom rushers and leaving the pocket when he didn't need to. Kind of putting his offensive line in a bad spot at times. Like I think I counted 14 pressures and 7 of them were his fault. It just didn't. I don't want to say that I'm not concerned or anything because it's his only 4th game. And overall, the super high highs are awesome and the lows aren't super low, but there were ample opportunities for the Bears to make this a game. And if it wasn't for the Bears' incompetence, we could be talking about a very different game here on Wednesday.
But I also do think though that like his bar is high enough that even in a win, and it's not like a Jared Goff-esque win that we're going to talk about later, but like even in a win, we're like, oh, that was his worst game as a pro, but like they still won. He still had a few awesome plays, There's reason to feel optimism and comfort with the guy, even when you can criticize him. That's the way I view it, at least, is like it, there's at least sunshine. There's
listen, after witnessing a couple years of Matt Patricia, Mac Jones, a handicap Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and then the early season after Jacoby Brissett, like I can see why we're kind of having rose-colored glasses right now, especially when the team is 3-7, and we're like, if this team was 7-3, and we came a game off of that, we're like, hold on, pump the brakes. This is a little concerning. Yeah. Right now, it's just like we're trying to highlight the good things we can carry into next year because we're not really thinking in the terms of how many wins can we rip off this year.
Yeah. The one last point I want to make about the Patriots just quickly. Go. And I understand that the Bears suck. Their offensive scheme sucked.
Bad.
I need to give praise to this guy because I think if he's not on the Pro Bowl or on the All-Pro team, I'm gonna be a little upset.
Who's that?
Christian Gonzalez. He is so NFL Next Gen Stats has him as like basically fuck. What's the stat? I saw Mike Reese tweeted it. If you want to pull it up or something, like
Mike Reese.
I think Reese tweeted it.
Keep talking.
So essentially, Christian Gonzalez via like a lot of like advanced stats and stuff like that. I mean, shit. Even the eye test has been the second best cornerback in the NFL this year.
Any idea when he tweeted that?
It was like yesterday. As I try to remember off the top of my head, I didn't want to butcher it, so that's why I asked if you could pull it up. This is really interesting podcasting, I know.
Seriously, yeah. Save things like this. Write them down.
I just remembered off the top of my head when we were talking.
Here we go.
Like, forgot.
Damn near 24 hours ago, quantifying Christian Gonzalez's 2024 season through 10 games via Next Gen Stats, minimum 50 targets. Second lowest in completion percentage as nearest defender, 50.9%, behind only Houston's Derek Stingley Jr. at 49.1%. Tied for first with Stingley in fewest yards allowed per target, 5.7. And the top reply is another Bill Belichick pick, and we'll get no credit for it. The Bill bots are out and active this week.
Bill bots. The roster sucks because Belichick. No, we already rehashed it.
What about Michael Wendy in the 6th round 3 years ago?
Congrats, he made 2 good defensive picks. He's good at picking defensive players. Oh wait,
what about those
guards?
What
have the second round cornerbacks been like?
Like, my whole thing is he can't identify high end, top of the roster talent. He can make the most out of crap, sure.
Yeah.
But
and by the way, Gonzalez was an obvious pick. Let's not. It was. That was a
to
top
him.
Talent in the draft.
I mean, he kind of like had a blindfold on, backed his ass into that. He tried to give him to the Commanders.
Yeah, but like when he fell on the board, it's like that's such an obvious.
Can you imagine if Washington took Christian Gonzalez?
Oh God, who
we would have taken?
Probably Zay.
Nope.
Oh,
I have it on good authority who we would have taken.
Who would we have taken?
Keon White.
Okay, so you landed ass backwards into the 2 players you like the most. Congrats.
Yes. Like the Patriots were comfortable taking Keon White at 15, 16, whatever it was. Like this is a well-known story.
I heard the rumors that it was like Zay Flowers was their guy, but
okay. What are you gonna believe? The Patriots were gonna overdraft a defensive end or take a really good wide receiver?
Yes.
Good point, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, exiting this, the Patriots are 3-7. Finally, we're out of the number 1 pick. I think we're at 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, we fell down a lot, but I mean, like, who cares?
The draft position.
This draft
the highest pick.
This draft isn't that good. Like,
I'm sorry. Like, you wanted to take Travis Hunter first overall?
I'd be down for that if that was like truly your best available option.
He's the best player in the draft, but that's not going to help us right now. You know what's going to help us right now? Offensive tackle, wide receiver. Travis Hunter doesn't. I don't like it. He's a good wide receiver. He's an even better corner.
I would say you would try him out of both positions, but like
he can't do both.
I don't know if he is the NFL's Ohtani. I mean, I'm not against it. Like
I don't think you can do both in the NFL.
No, I mean
not 100 snaps a game.
Yeah, because I remember, if I remember correctly, Charles Woodson when he was coming out of Michigan played both receiver and corner, and I believe the Raiders just said you're Hall of Fame talent at corner. Fucking obviously, you look at his career, and a good receiver. We're not going to do this.
I feel the same way about Travis Hunter. He's a good wide receiver. He's an all-pro, perennial defensive player of the year guy at corner.
Yeah.
I'm not taking Travis Hunter at receiver at number 1 overall. I'm not doing it. You can't convince me to do it. And we don't need a corner bad enough to take a corner first overall either. So I have no interest in tanking for the first overall pick. We have the quarterback. Go win games.
The only way I would love to have the first overall pick, truthfully, is they played hard enough and like the league was at least competitive enough that like a last first overall pick team is like not like a complete utter fucking joke. But that's not going to happen this year because there are a lot of complete and utter
there are at least 4 jokes in the NFL right now.
So it's not like you're dead last while being like reasonably competitive. You're going to be dead last because you're just a cataclysmic joke. Which
I haven't looked at Tankathon like all season. Here are the teams that are picking ahead of you, and I want you to tell me if we're a bigger joke than them or not. Jacksonville.
No.
Giants.
Now they have no. Wait, what?
Giants.
No.
Titans.
No.
Browns.
I know we lost some. No.
Raiders.
No.
And then you're at 6. Even ahead of you, the Jets.
For the expectations they had, they're a fucking disaster.
Saints.
Disaster.
Carolina.
What's
Come
like
on.
how far down the hole could you go in hell to describe the Carolina Panthers?
They're winning 2 straight.
They are. They actually have looked better.
How about Dallas without Dak?
Oh my god, that team! Like, I need to talk about them in the NFL segment. Just holy shit!
Just wanted to see there are at least 7-8 teams that we'd rather be us than them.
Yeah, listen, we're climbing out of the hole, and that's a good thing. You can still get if we get Ted McMillan at like what 6th overall, 7th overall, 8th.
I think we could land between 6th and 10th. I think that's kind of like where we'll land.
Yeah, and if you get you can still get a top 10 quality player at receiver or tackle. From what I've heard, though, not a lot of people are super high on Will Campbell as a tackle. I don't know. I heard he's an elite pass blocker.
That's what we need.
Yeah, I'm cool with Will Campbell.
I'm okay with my left tackle being kind of at run blocking.
Yeah, listen. You have a Lamborghini at quarterback. Protect it.
Get your insurance. Yeah, get your insurance.
Yeah, that or go get an engine upgrade and get him a fucking receiver or something. You know what I mean? Like,
you can do both.
Either way, boost the Lambo you got right there. It's pretty damn cool.
You can go trade for T. Higgins and get Will Campbell, and all of a sudden you're an NFL offense.
Yeah,
and you have the money to give T. Higgins the contract.
Yeah, and I mean, like, listen, if the Bengals want to hold him hostage. We have draft capital. I'm not against using draft capital for him.
Not using it first though.
No.
Next year's first, maybe you can talk me into.
No, if we're trading next year's first or something, I want someone a lot better. Like
better than T. Higgins?
Better than T. I mean, like a disgruntled receiver somewhere else or something. You know what I mean? Like,
does it get better than T. Higgins on the disgruntled receiver list?
I mean.
Come on, throw the curveball. You know you want to. You know you want to throw the curveball.
I'd be really curious about AJ Brown in Philly because I feel like they don't have the best relationship there.
Maybe we get Devontae Smith.
I would love Devontae Smith.
A little younger.
Yeah. Well, Devontae's only a year younger than AJ though. So
how about Puka Nacua?
The Puke man would be cool, but I feel like McVay would view him as like a building block. Like I would love Cooper Kupp if Cooper Kupp wasn't gonna be like 32 or something.
And already getting some tread on the tires.
Yeah. Like if you told me we're getting like 27, 28-year-old Cooper Kupp, yeah, next year's first, bye. Don't care. Would not care. Easily worth that investment. But Cooper Kupp now, unless we can get like the Randy Moss deal or something.
Before we move on to the Rams, as we almost kind of segued there, do you have any parting thoughts for the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, dude, that team is a clown show. Like okay. It amazes me that Eberflus was even allowed to make the decision to fire Waldron. That's insane to me. He sucks. And, like, people be like, well, the Bears defense isn't that bad. They're not that good. They're all right. Like, they're not justifying keeping around a fucking lame duck head coach like Eberflus just because the offense is that much worse. They need Ben Johnson there so badly, man. Like, that needs to happen there. It's bad.
It is bad. But we'll move on to the Rams. They're 4-5, third in the NFC West. They're coming off of a brutal 23-15 loss to the Dolphins at home. This game wasn't ever relatively close, I don't think. Yeah, the Dolphins were up 17-6 in the fourth quarter. Stafford 32-46, 293, and an interception. Tua Tagovailoa in his second start back, 20-28, 207, one touchdown, one pick, and one attempt to get concussed again, going head first into somebody's knee like a dumbass.
I'm sorry, I can't feel sympathy for him. You're begging for it at this point, dude. Every time you walk on that field and do that shit, you're begging for it.
Dolphins super inefficient on the run. Kyron Williams, 15 carries, 62 yards, average of 4.1 a carry. Puka Nacua was their leading receiver, 9 for 98. Cooper Kupp right behind him, 7 for 80. This Rams team, they're going to be coming in pissed. Like, we can safely assume that they're coming in pissed, aggravated, that they dropped that game, especially at 4-5 in a weak NFC where they can still make the playoffs, and they should.
They're coming in pissed, but like, you guys have been fucking like just mystifying. Not even mystifying, but like just bad. Like, bad.
Their offense, I will give them a pass. They lost Cooper Kupp for several weeks and Puka Nacua for several weeks.
I know that, but that's not even like my main worry about them is their defense. Like, their defensive line's really good. Like,
but they ranked 22nd in total yards per game, 22nd against the pass, and 19th against the run.
Yeah, they're bad. They're not good.
Is this a symptom of Aaron Donald no longer being in the room?
Yeah, who would have thought losing maybe the greatest defensive player ever would really affect things? I mean, here's the thing. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, those guys rock. Like, they're going to be a nightmare for years to come.
Verse already 4.5 sacks. Byron Young's
another damn good player.
5 sacks.
Yeah, their pass rush, their front seven, I mean, their linebackers are just like, if you get to the second level against these guys, man, which we talked about in the Titans game preview.
Their secondary isn't very good at all. You're right.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
So the key is for the Patriots to make this thing a goddamn shootout.
Yeah. Listen, this is called you're pulling the Lambo out the driveway. Let's let it rip.
Which is weird because we're playing against the best offensive coach in football against one of the best offensive course in football.
Yeah. Yeah, the defense is gonna have a lot on their hands. I'd be super curious, who is Gonzo gonna go against? Because they're both.
I'd guess Puka. Puka is very physical. He's a tough son of a bitch. That kind of matches up with Gonzo's play style better. And then I imagine you put Jonathan Jones on Cooper Kupp and just pray for the best.
Yeah, either way, like, man, that's gonna interest me the most is who's Gonzo gonna shadow. Because they trust him enough. They're just gonna have him shadow whoever they feel is the best receiver out there. So that's probably the biggest X factor, because Stafford, the one thing that I know about Matthew Stafford, I think, if you look at his receiver stat lines and like through history, whether it be Megatron or like someone like Marvin Jones or Golden Tate or Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, obviously the big, Megatron, Cooper Kupp being the obvious ones. Now Puka is, when he has his guys, he loves spamming them targets. Loves it. He doesn't give a shit. He will, like... And McVay does one hell of a job to scheme them open, man. Like, it's impressive stuff. It's going to be, like... It's going to be a fucking dogfight on Sunday, I think. It's going to be tough.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say that the Patriots have the advantage in wits. DeMarcus Covington, as much as I like him, Gerard Mayo, I don't know. Sean McVay is going to be in his bag. He's going to be in his bag.
Yeah,
especially after last week.
Yeah, they are rookie coaches going against one of if not the best offensive minds in football. That's going to be, and listen, if they here's your first like truest sense of like, can I give credit to you guys as coaches? If you can, either neutralize or like, I don't want to say shut down because I don't think shutting down is going to happen. That'd be extremely exciting. If you can make it a game and they don't pants you, then I'll think they are at least worthy of keeping around. Not depending on anything else that happens, but like, yeah.
But the offense should open up against this defense.
Yeah, they should. It's going to be tough. I'd like to see them cook up something, something like what they did with Brendan Schooler, but like keep on getting creative. That's the one thing I will say about Bill is like when Bill was, coaching defenses and stuff like that, he would always get creative. Innovate, find ways to shut these guys down. And if it doesn't work, reevaluate and adjust. But I want to see them continue to do what they did, like they did against Chicago.
Again, this is going to be: is this Patriots defense back and good, or did they just play the Bears?
Yeah, that's where the question is.
But this offense, it needs to bounce back. We can't be putting our defense into bad spots against these guys like we did last week. Our defense came through for us last week, but we put them in a lot of bad spots on offense. Like it was just you can't do it. Lots of bad field position, lots of untimely turnover-worthy plays, quick 3-and-outs.
Yeah, they like we talked about with their secondary. We need to like let Drake Maye just rip it. Let's live and die by Drake Maye. Fuck. Drake Maye. This game. Let's live and die by him. Let him rip. That's all I want to see.
Have anything else written down here? Let's see if they pushed any injuries yet. November 12th was yesterday. Rob Havenstein is questionable, and Neville Gallimore is questionable.
Neville Gallimore is still kicking it, huh?
Yeah, apparently.
Niagara Falls product. Salute to him.
He was only drafted in 2020.
I know, but like he got cut a lot by like a couple of teams. Then I want him to do well. He's from Niagara Falls. I shout out all my Canadians. So
drafted by the Cowboys, played there 4 seasons, played a little bit in Miami this year, and now he's with the Rams.
Ram, okay.
And the top story is he's proud to represent Ottawa in the NFL.
Oh, is it Ottawa?
Well, that's what the video said.
I thought he was Niagara Falls, or did he play his high? He might play his high. I remember he's from Ontario, regardless. So shout out to my guy. Yeah. Havenstein would be, if he doesn't play, that would be big.
Yeah, Joe Noteboom, or Davis Allen, or Hunter Long would be the no, that's a tight end. Yeah, it would be Joe Noteboom or Warren McClendon Jr. playing right tackle for them.
Not great.
Because Connor McDermott and KT Leviston are both on IR.
Connor McDermott ended up with the Rams, huh?
And I'd be remiss to not mention that if Matthew Stafford were to exit the game, Jimmy Garoppolo would be coming in and playing for the Rams.
And Caleb cheers against the Patriots for.
No, yeah, seriously, I'm betting Rams money line the second Jimmy G comes in.
Caleb's gonna go he's gonna be at the game and he's gonna go fucking try to sit on the Rams bench, Jimmy. When he comes
no, seriously, I switch jerseys at halftime when Jimmy comes out.
You're like the picture. Remember the picture of Drake when he visited Kentucky or whatever, and he's just sitting in the meeting room. That's you. Jimmy becomes a starter.
Or Kentucky, yeah.
Uh, yeah. If that does happen, that'd be spicy a little. I would like to see that actually.
Nick Caley's
Not
coming
not.
back too. There's a lot
I
of
like
familiar
stuff,
names.
but that'd be spicy.
A lot of familiar names with this Rams team.
Yeah,
But
they got some guys, man.
they
They
do.
got some
They got some
guys.
dudes. All right. Ready to get to LCO's 10 questions?
Yeah, let's knock them out.
10 questions that got everything to do with football. Again, earlier this week, I said, LCO, can you come up with 10 questions for me and Ryan to answer when you're thinking about the NFL at large? And he said, yeah, I can do that. So here's 10 questions. We'll start with number 1, the top story in the NFL right now. The Chiefs keep finding ways to win. Will they go 17-0? Who are the likely teams to beat them? Now, not to preview the pick segment, but they're playing Buffalo this week. That's probably their toughest out the rest of the way, but I'll pull up their schedule
I
here.
would say Buffalo this week. I'm
But if
almost at a
they
point where I am getting a little bit like these guys can't keep on getting away with it.
they can and they will, just like the Patriots had the magic horseshoe shoved up their
I
ass.
won't lie. I don't know if ours is as devilish as this, man. Like a blocked field goal.
Listen,
With
we've had
Denver
a
had them on the ropes.
we had a magic horseshoe shoved up our ass for 20 years.
Oh, I know.
So
But
if they beat the Bills and they're 10-0, they got the Panthers next week. That's a win.
Objectively, the funniest thing would be Carolina beating them.
Seriously, the Raiders and Arrowhead.
Yeah,
That's a win. The Chargers. That's tough.
Depends on if they want to puke all over themselves like the Chargers like to do. But Harbaugh,
Chargers on primetime in Arrowhead. That's a game to watch.
okay.
The Browns in Cleveland, they're beating the Browns. The Texans, if they keep it up, I mean, I don't know if they can hang. The Steelers on Christmas.
Two teams
And the Broncos
right
in Mile High. So what? 2 games you can see them losing? Maybe 3?
I would say the best bets are Buffalo and Pittsburgh right now.
I think it's Buffalo and LAC. Chargers are weird.
Chargers are weird.
AFC West is weird.
We know the lore of the Chargers. They are kind of, they love bumbling it. So they'll get the lead. They'll get the lead with like a minute left, and then like they'll somehow get a turnover, and then they'll fumble the ball, and then Mahomes will like just casually walk it off.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy down the field for 60 yards.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil pick segment, but I will say if they beat Buffalo this weekend, I'd bet on them to go 17-0.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. Reason to worry about the Houston Texans. Are you concerned about the Houston Texans?
I am. Why? And it's because of this is a coach I had a lot of hype for. But man, Bobby Slowick hasn't been doing a good job.
They got 2 losses in a row, one to New York on Halloween, Thursday night, and they just lost to the Lions in a game where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. Yeah, it's not great. Nico Collins, I understand, has been out. He should be back this weekend, I do believe. As they play the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football.
From what I heard, they keep spamming the run, and it's just like, what was able to make Mixon tick is that you had a whole kind of balanced offensive approach where like.
Yeah, they gave Mixon 25 carries. He got 46 yards and a touchdown. That's a 1.8 average.
That's embarrassing.
A little bit. CJ Stroud, 19 of 33, 232, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
He hasn't been that great either.
Not great, Jim.
Bit of a sophomore slump.
On the season, Stroud has 2,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Good, but not good enough.
His season high for yards was 345 against Jacksonville back in week 4, excuse me.
It gets the lowly Jaguars.
Yep.
Not good. They
not
haven't
great.
Been good.
So you're a little concerned?
I am.
Are they going to win the division
Now
still?
the concern can be alleviated when Nico Collins comes back, but like if you're a bunch of Nico Collins merchants and you know he's got a bum hammy, which is the most insufferable injury to try and recover from, what happens if he gets hurt again?
I mean, you lost Diggs for the year.
Yeah, could be bad.
Could be
I
bad.
don't know.
So
Could be great. Could be
the
bad.
Texans down the stretch. They have Dallas.
You should win.
They have Tennessee at home.
Should win that.
They're at Jacksonville.
Should win that.
Then they're on bye. And then after the bye, versus Miami, at KC versus Baltimore.
KC and Baltimore are the only games where I don't think they'll win.
Miami, I mean, they're healthy again.
Yeah. I mean,
Dome
I
team.
guess you could throw Miami in there.
Listen, when Miami plays in a dome, they're really good.
Yeah, they're weather merchants. We know this. I know it.
And then
We
they
all
have
know.
Tennessee to end the year. But yeah, losers are 2 straight. Lost 3 of their last 4.
Not good.
Not ideal. They're 6-4. So we're a little concerned. Number 3. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers for real, or is the world about to crash down on them? Well, let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go ahead and load that up. Pittsburgh Steelers. There are 7-2 winners of 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Given they were against the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, and Washington, but 4 in a row is 4 in a row. They got Baltimore this weekend. Listen, I feel like this is like kind of just your typical Steelers team. I mean, Mike Tomlin is very good at his job. He will get the most out of your players, whether they're really, really good or they're just mid. George Pickens has seemed to like just flip a switch, honestly, and turn into a dominant wide receiver 1 with Russell Wilson, who just loves throwing to his guys. Kind of that Stafford element we talked about a little earlier.
Yeah.
I feel like the Steelers team is kind of your typical Steelers team. They're going to lose a couple games down the stretch that maybe they probably shouldn't. Versus Baltimore this weekend, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Like that's wow. 1, 2, 4 straight division games. That's tough. At Philly, at Baltimore versus. Oh my! Is this the toughest end of the season stretch for like any NFL team?
No, the Bears apparently have the hardest.
Listen to these teams versus Baltimore, at Cleveland, at Cincinnati versus Cleveland, at Philly, at Baltimore versus Kansas City versus Cincinnati, who in week 18 are, I assume, going to be fighting for their lives. Assuming that gets turned around.
Pull up the Bears one. I want to hear it because they were saying the Bears have the hardest one.
The Bears have the hardest one?
Yeah.
Stand by.
But yeah, no, I do think the Steelers are. I have a complicated like opinion on them because it's like I think you said it best. They just kind of like are who they are. They're good. They're playing really good football. We also saw this in 2020. Granted, I think the 2020 run was a little faker than this one.
Oh, we knew that the 2021 was fraud.
Losing, never heard of her. What happened to you, Chase Claypool, after that one?
Seriously.
And
they turned that into Joey Porter Jr. Shout out to them.
That's pretty good work right there. Yeah, I think they're just.
I think they'll make a wild card and they'll lose in the first round.
Yeah, unless
lose to
Russ
a Buffalo.
turns back the clock to like 2014, 2013, Russ. I don't think so.
They'll lose to Buffalo, or they'll drop the division and lose to Baltimore and Baltimore. If they play like a Cincinnati team, like if they win the division and they play Cincinnati in the wild card, I imagine they probably get smoked. Because I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think you're going to see playoff football in Pittsburgh. I don't think they're going to go much further in the first round.
No.
But the Bears closing schedule versus Green Bay, versus Minnesota, at Detroit, at San Francisco, at Minnesota, versus Detroit, versus Seattle, at Green Bay. I think Pittsburgh's is harder, but it's comparable.
Yeah.
Because I think Minnesota, and it's the next question, actually. I think Minnesota has kind of like reached the ceiling on their Sam Darnold magic. And Elsie awarded the question as, how do the Vikings solve their Sam Darnold size problem? I think they just kind of reached the limit. I think they've hit the ceiling.
Yeah, the fun was really fun. We were gassing them up every week, and it was electric. But yeah, sometimes guys just are who they are.
Vikings are 7-2 right now. Winners are 2 straight.
He
But
couldn't even go
God,
up against the Jaguars.
the last 4 games for them have been tough. They obviously a tough pill to swallow playing against Detroit, and you lose by 2. A couple of missed field goals in that one, if I remember correctly. Then you lose to the Rams. You beat Indianapolis narrowly, and then you play Mac Jones and you almost lose.
Yeah,
Did everything you could to choke that game away. Their end of the season schedule is fairly easy. You have Chicago twice in there. You have Tennessee, but Arizona, Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay, Detroit. Could be tough. It could be really tough for the Vikings end of the season here, especially if Sam Darnold is going to start reverting back to his old ways. I don't think they're going to be dominating teams like they were early in the season. I think they're going to kind of slowly tumble down. They're going to lose. They're going to cough up the division as Detroit kind of runs away with it at this point. And they'll probably be the 6th or 7th seed in the NFC, and they'll probably get kicked in the first round.
I'm with you on that. Barring, we have seen all-time talents kind of carry guys around a little. I do think Justin Jefferson, if you want to be the all-time, talent that I think he is and is on pace to be, this is your time where you need to take the reins and be like, listen, we're not Sam. We know what Sam Darnold's limitations are. I'm gonna do my best to make sure I can keep us in games, and that's the power of like a superstar receiver.
But even then, MVP Adrian Peterson can only take Christian Ponder so far.
Exactly, and that's the tough part, right? Generational talents can
or
only do
Joe
so much.
Webb. I think he played in that playoff game in 2012.
Bad. That Vikings team was not good. A lot of the Vikings teams in the Adrian Peterson era were just not good. But yeah, bad.
All right, question 5. Did we jump the gun on the Commanders, or are the Steelers a very good team? I think the Commanders are still good. I think
they're just injured.
Right? I think they played a game. I think they played a game against the Steelers that they didn't think the Steelers had in them. But this game against Philadelphia on Thursday night is going to be very telling.
I should say they are getting Brian Robinson Jr. back.
Marshawn Lattimore is not going to debut for them just yet.
No, and that's interesting, man, because they were saying, well, we're going to hold them out for this Thursday night game. Well, the Thursday night game's tomorrow, and he's out. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I don't imagine that this is going to be a tough game. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good game. Whoever wins this game is going to be probably my lock to win the NFC East. But I think the Commanders are still very good. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make life a living hell for teams down the stretch. Let's see who they're playing.
They also have a rookie court. Like, I love Jaden Daniels to death. One of my favorite players in the NFL already. He's also a rookie. Like, they are going to have games where they may not be, he may not pop off like he should.
It's a very favorable schedule down the stretch.
Yeah.
At Philly on Thursday, versus Dallas, versus Tennessee, bye week. At New Orleans versus Philadelphia versus Atlanta at Dallas. Getting Dallas twice, a Saints team after the bye, and then you just have to push your way through the Philadelphia games. But they should come out of this stretch 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, at least 5 and 2 down the stretch. Give them 12 and 5. They should.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think the Commanders are still going to be very good. It's a very good year one. Maybe if people were calling the Super Bowl contenders, I don't think we were.
No, I think they get eliminated relatively early in the playoffs, and if they don't, like, listen, you're looking at all-time rookie season from Jaden Daniels.
If he can just not RG3 and repeat history, the Commanders are going to be a very good team for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 6. Who is the second team in the NFC behind the Lions? Very good question. Let's look at the NFL playoff picture and what is technically the seeding as we sit today. So obviously the Lions are the number 1 seed. Number 2 is Philadelphia. Number 3 is the Falcons. Number 4 is the Cardinals. Oh, shout out to the Cardinals winning the NFC West, by the way.
That is pretty crazy.
The Vikings at 5, the Commanders at 6, and the Packers at 7. The Niners are 1 game out. I think it's fair to say the Eagles are the second team.
I still want to have belief in the Packers, but like they need to kind of give me a reason to believe in them right now. They haven't necessarily played their greatest football. Granted, they're coming off a bye. I think based on the way I view their roster, I believe the Packers, like their roster and coaching combined, I think the Packers is second best. But yeah, the NFC is relatively weak right now. It's not good.
No, the Niners haven't been healthy, so obviously they're kind of scrapping their way back.
They're going to make it, and they'll inevitably make the NFC, maybe make the NFC Championship game or at least the divisional round. The 49ers aren't dead yet.
I'm not high on them. I think it's too much to ask.
It depends on how cooked McCaffrey is after the injury.
Wasn't great on Sunday.
From what I heard, he kind of looked like he was running through molasses.
But I think the Eagles, top down, very good team talent wise.
The problem with the Eagles has never been about their talent. It's about the fact that they have an idiot as their head coach.
Well, they're 7-2. They're starting to turn a corner.
It's in spite of Sirianni.
Okay, true. True as that may be. They still made a Super Bowl under Sirianni. Now, I don't think anybody's going to be dethroning the Lions. I think this is their conference to take.
Yeah,
I think I'm very comfortable with Philly at 2 and Green Bay at 3. And in a couple of weeks, if you re-ask me this question, I would not be shocked if I'm saying Green Bay.
I'm gonna keep believing in. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say Green Bay.
Do you think that they could take the division from the Lions?
No. I think Detroit, dude, that win, like there's some like level of like Disney magic with them right now, because 99.9 times out of 10 you're not winning that fucking game.
So they lost the Lions by 10 last week, and they have the Lions Thursday, December 5th.
Oh man, that December 5th game is gonna be interesting.
They have a tough schedule down the stretch. Sure, they have the Bears twice, but they're gonna have a chippy Niners team. They're gonna play Miami on Thanksgiving. They're gonna be at Seattle. Actually, it's actually not that hard. You get the Bears twice. You get Minnesota, who we assume by week 17 is going to be kind of on the ropes. They could manage. They could certainly manage. They get 2 warm weather teams in Green Bay late in the year.
Yeah, that should be good. Where is the Thanksgiving game in Green Bay?
It's in Detroit.
Oh, it's in wait. Is Miami playing Detroit?
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yes, it's in Green Bay, Thanksgiving versus Miami.
Miami in Green Bay in late November.
Yep.
Who put that on Thanksgiving?
We didn't know that the Dolphins were going to suck this bad.
Yeah, but we've already talked about this. The Dolphins are fucking. They can't play in the cold. I don't know. Do we want to watch the Packers put belt to ass on the? I mean, I do, but like, does the general public want to watch the Packers put belt to ass on the Dolphins like that?
Would you rather them play the Saints? Because those would probably be the swap options.
There's like nothing. This year's Thanksgiving slate sucks, man.
I think that they should have put San Francisco Green Bay on Thanksgiving night. That could have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been definitely a lot more interesting.
Even if they're injured to hell. But
Yeah.
all right, that was a tangent. What head coaches should be fired, and who are the top candidates to fill these seats next year? Matt Eberflus.
Eberflus is the obvious. I'm gonna say Antonio Pierce.
Yep.
Let's see. Looking around the NFL right now. Mike
Zach
McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy's the obvious. Zach Taylor, maybe.
If they miss the playoffs.
Yeah. I could see Jimmy Haslam kind of doing a Jimmy Haslam thing and firing Stefanski.
That would be insane.
It would be, but Jimmy Haslam's also fucking insane.
So we have at least 4. The top
Dable.
Oh yeah, Giants. 5. As far as candidates, I think Bill Belichick's obviously going to be wild card. Mike Vrabel is going to be mentioned a little bit. I think what's his name, Liam Cohen in Tampa. He could be a guy. Yeah,
Ben Johnson's
Ben Johnson for sure. Aaron Glenn, I believe his name is, over on the defensive side of that team.
Yeah,
could be something. Could Robert Saleh get another chance?
I think Saleh's going to be a decent. From what I saw, wasn't he with the Packers that like helping them?
Yeah, he was like an offensive consultant for the Packers, but he was basically just teaching them how to like look at defenses.
It wouldn't shock me because he's really tightened it with a lot of the ex-49er guys and stuff like that. If he either goes back to San Fran or like Green Bay.
Can you imagine that coaching staff, LaFleur and Saleh, offensive and defense? Packers could be nasty.
Yeah. They have a good defensive coach. It's not a good head coach.
I want to see Vrabel back in the league.
I do too.
I don't want to see Bill back in the league. I'm done with Bill.
I don't even want it. Dude, every time he goes on the McAfee show or just whatever.
He's either just like dissing the Patriots and just like ignoring them, or he's ripping Gerard Mayo.
He's just a miserable, vindictive fuck at this point. Like,
no, seriously, the only things he talks about are things to help his agenda.
Yeah.
Not even I'm that bad.
Yeah, you in comparison like a fucking angel.
No, I'm tame in comparison to Belichick in his agenda. I'm actually a fair media pundit.
Belichick will just come in there and be like, "Well, I mean, they won, good for them." But I want to talk about the Bears, how bad they suck.
Yeah, sure. Is the NFC South historically bad this year? No, I don't think they're historically bad this year. The Falcons are a very good team.
The Falcons are good.
The Panthers suck, obviously.
You know what though, with the Panthers, I will say this. As much as I joke saying they're like the crater of hell, like I am starting to see at least a little bit of Canales' vision and Bryce Young developing confidence. And I think that's the two things you should look out for if you're a Panthers fan at this point. Shout out MVT if you're listening. Is just, you need Bryce Young to actually, look a little bit like his Alabama self again.
Mm-hmm.
He lost it. He had parts of it last year, but like he lost at the beginning of the season and he got benched. Andy Dalton was terrible. Bryce Young comes in, they win 2 in a row. Maybe the Panthers are actually looking a little better. A little bit more. They're going to be bad. They're going to be top 5 worst, but like
they're still drained on talent. But do you feel better about sidecars? Do you feel better about Dave Canales and Bryce Young, or Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson?
Canales and Young easily. Steichen and Richardson's a fucking
And the Buccaneers are not bad. They're just injured.
Yeah.
All right, we'll rip through these last 2. Can the Bengals still make a playoff push? What's been dragging them down? You're a Bengals guy. Give me a quick answer.
I would say one, T. Higgins being hurt a lot doesn't help. Two, your super talented rookie receiver, Jermaine Burton, being a total fucking idiot. Like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. He's been a complete jackass in the NFL so far, and that was always the concern with him. Let's see.
Tough end of the season
Their,
stretch.
their play calling, under Zach Taylor has always been mystifying. And their defense just isn't good.
The Steelers, they have the Steelers twice. They have Los Angeles Chargers this weekend. And they got Denver. The only three games I see them being really favored in is Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland all in a row.
Yeah.
Denver is going to be tough.
With that being said, you do have a quarterback that we know can do the damn thing. We know they have a receiver in Jamar Chase that can do the damn thing. Oh, dude, Jamar Chase, we need to talk about it. His peaks are some of the greatest peaks in NFL history.
Oh, yeah, he went insane last week.
Dude, he has like multiple games where it's like 10 for like 260 and like 3 touchdowns or some shit like that.
It's a Randy Moss stat line.
Dude, I woke up. I didn't watch the full game last week. I fell asleep. I woke up, checked my fantasy app, and saw my opponent had Jamar Chase.
You had Joe Burrow.
I did. I still lost, but like this is my high school league. I had Derrick Henry, gave me 14 points, and I was like, yeah, my week's over.
All right. Last question. Should the Dolphins invest in looking for a capable Tua replacement? I say yes, and the name I'm throwing out there is Bryce Young.
I agree. I don't know Carolina's going to move off Bryce Young anymore if he keeps showing strides.
If you're the Dolphins and you're picking top 10 and you could either move up, do you take Shedeur Sanders?
It would be so much. You know what? If I'm Miami, why not get the local guy? Cam Ward. He's been amazing. Cam Ward with those weapons would be.
But they need Tua to just like retire. They need him to get out. They stupidly signed that contract. Yeah. Never lock yourself into a mediocre quarterback. Never. I think
Saints. Oh man.
I think Detroit's gonna end up paying for it later too.
Yeah.
Like if Ben Johnson is the man and Aaron Glenn is the man, Dan Campbell's gonna be super tested next year.
And you don't have capable replacements? Good luck.
Seriously. Jared Goff is like gonna revert. All right, you ready to do some picks?
Yeah.
I didn't count them last week. I let Elcio do your line picks. So I'll count them next week. I'll give a full update. But we're crunched on time. We got 15 minutes. Let's rip through it. Washington at Philadelphia, Thursday Night Football. Washington is 3.5-point favorites. Where are you going with this?
I'm taking Washington to win.
Taking the cover?
I'm taking the cover.
Yeah. Why?
I think last week Jaden Daniels had a little bit of an off game. Like he didn't necessarily destroy the world. With that being said, he's shown he is like on the way to being an elite quarterback. They got Brian Robinson Jr. back, a huge part of their offense. I think they're gonna really push Philly. And like I said, I just they're all talent and no coaching in Philly. Sirianni's just so fucking bad. Like I can't. Not when there's a cable matchup.
I'm taking Philly's talent. Okay. I think Washington still got a ways to go. Green Bay at Chicago. Green Bay is 5.5-point favorites. I'm taking Green Bay both ways.
Green Bay owns the Bears. That's history, and history will remain intact.
This line needs to be higher. Unlike this line, the Jaguars are going to Detroit. And Detroit is 13-point favorites, the largest spread of the season.
Who's the Jaguars quarterback, by the way?
Do we know that guy? Some guy from Alabama. I don't know.
I've heard he's like a local product. Odd-looking duck.
Yeah. Doesn't have any arm talent.
Yeah.
So Detroit both ways?
Yeah.
13 points, man.
That's another hate watch commencing this weekend.
Minnesota at Tennessee. Minnesota is 6-point favorites. I'm going to be a little wacky here. I'll take Minnesota to win. I'll take Tennessee to cover.
Okay, I got Minnesota both ways.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's because Levis is playing, and let's be real.
It could get weird, though.
It could, but Flores also will probably cook up something to make Levis, like, give us another meme.
Miami at home taking on the Raiders. Who you got? Miami is 3-point favorites.
Miami. Right? The Raiders are just not good, dude.
No, bad. I agree. Miami both ways. Skipping New England. Cleveland at New Orleans. New Orleans is 1-point favorite. I'll take New Orleans. I'll ride the momentum they got after firing DA. What do you think?
I'm going with the Jameis Winston revenge game because it would be the funniest possible outcome.
Nah, Winston guy. I think he blows.
Oh, he sucks, but like the Saints, it's the hell off. Like in terms of like teams that are just their future is fucked.
Pittsburgh at home hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 3-point favorites.
I'm gonna go with Baltimore, and I got them to cover.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. These AFC North division games are weird. Pittsburgh plays Lamar Jackson really well. I'll take Pittsburgh.
All right.
The Jets are 4-point favorite at home to Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts.
Dude, the Jets are so bad, but so are the Colts.
Anthony Richardson's horrible.
He is. I guess give me the Jets begrudgingly. Like that, like if you're a fan of either team, I know Trent, you're listening to this. Do you even like want to watch this game?
No.
Like, find something better doing your son.
You don't even have the appeal of Aaron Rodgers anymore. Aaron Rodgers is not the same Aaron Rodgers we grew up with.
Speaking of, he wants to come back next year.
Rodgers?
Yeah. It came up on my notifications.
We'll see how he feels. We'll see how he feels the first Tuesday of the new year. Denver playing host to Atlanta. Actually, I took the Jets. I should say that. Denver is 2.5-point favorites to the Falcons at home. I'm taking Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. They play the Chiefs really hard. I think playing home against Atlanta, I think it's a bad matchup for Atlanta. I think it's a bad spot.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I'll differ, and it's because talent. I think Atlanta is. I think they're starting to cook a little bit with what they got. They found their groove. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
I haven't seen what Atlanta's done.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of coaching candidates, I should say Zach Robinson might be
Ooh,
guy that
yeah. If the Falcons keep it up, for sure. Yeah. Right? He went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Falcons. It's just because I'm curious. Lost last week to New Orleans by 3. 2-2 in their last 4. Could be this is kind of a must win for them before the bye.
Yeah. I think they'll get it going.
Seattle at San Francisco. San Francisco 6.5-point favorites. Oh God, I can't remember who I took in the book downstairs. I think I took San Francisco begrudgingly.
I'm gonna take San Fran, but I'm gonna take Seattle to cover.
Same thing. I agree. It's gonna be close. KC at Buffalo. All right, Ryan. Are the Chiefs going 17-0? This is the must-watch game of the week. Must watch. Tune in. Stop what you're doing. Thank God NASCAR's over so I can actually take this in.
Yeah, I'll be watching that.
I am taking Buffalo. I think they're going to do it.
I am begrudgingly taking my least favorite team in football to win this game. Buffalo.
Oh, you're taking Kansas City?
No, it's Buffalo.
Buffalo is 2-point favorites. I think when it's a spread that short, you gotta take it.
Yeah. Listen, it's gonna be a shootout. But
awesome. I wish Keon Coleman was playing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite rookie receivers. He's just so big, he just up and go get it.
Yeah, listen, I called him Nakeon because of the N'Keal Harry comps, but
he's getting better.
He's better. Yeah, he's a good player. We apparently we like them a lot, from what I heard.
I don't know. I mean, I would have taken him over Jalen Polk to this point.
Oh yeah, but Polk's been bad.
But Cincinnati at LAC, Burrow versus Herbert, another really good game. LAC -1.5. I'm taking the Chargers.
This is the if off, so I'm gonna take whoever's supposed to play up to their potential more, and that will be Joe Burrow, the Bengals.
See, I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. You're a big Joe Burrow guy.
I'm a big Herb guy.
I think I'm a bigger Herbert guy.
I love both of them, man.
Can we talk about how well that dynasty trade worked out for me?
Yeah, that was a good move.
Olave.
I love that Joe Burrow has tapped into his like mid 2010s Drew Brees arc where he just puts up stats every week for me in fantasy. Doesn't turn into wins, but like shit. I ain't passing up 350 yards and 4 touchdowns a week.
The final game. Give me the points. I already have this written down, so I'll go first. Texans at Dallas. Houston, 7.5 point favorites. I am taking Houston both ways. This game is going to end 38-10 in favor of Houston.
Houston both ways, and I got not a scorcher, but I think something that's just been in the works. McCarthy gets fired.
Ooh, okay.
Dude, I didn't get to talk about it. Jerry Jones, man, like he is on one recently, and then like you hear like it was Micah. He came in and he's basically like, yeah, no, we do it for the players, not really for the coaches or whatever, some shit like that. Like, or like, Mike McCarthy could leave us and win me a thing or some shit like that. It was like a wild quote.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's
my
score?
take. 35-6.
41. All right. Final game. Rams at New England, Sunday, 1 p.m. in Foxboro. The Rams are 4.5 point favorites on the road. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a little closer than people think it is. Who you got winning this one?
Unfortunately, I have the Rams, but it is because of the coaching disparity at this point. With that being said, this is the week where I think Drake Maye could really start to make, like, he's already making waves. This is the type of match where you want Drake Maye with the ball in his hands, and I believe in the guy. I think he's going to make it way closer than it realistically should have been. Because if this is Jacoby Brissett starting, I'm gonna be real. This game is like, go do something else on your Sunday. Don't watch this game. We're gonna get.
It'd be 2020 Rams Patriots.
That would be fucking
Remember that
awesome.
game?
Yeah.
Remember that game? 2020 Rams Patriots?
Yeah. Wasn't that the game? Didn't Jacoby throw a touchdown in that game?
2020?
The 2020. It was in like the rain, right?
That was Ravens.
Yeah.
2020. We went to LA.
Oh yeah. No, that game. Yeah. I like the Ravens.
No. Rex Burkhead threw caught a touchdown from Jacoby Myers, I think, in that game.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about 2020 Rams Patriots.
That game was a shit show.
That would be what would happen if Jacoby Brissett was playing.
Yeah. And that was after they demolished the Chargers too, the week before.
Yeah, but that was all special teams and defense. The offense didn't do jack.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, that would have been. This is a week where Drake Maye gets on the national stage more, like everyone starts to realize, oh shit, this guy is him.
Score.
I got the Rams winning 28-24.
28-24. So you have the New England Patriots covering.
All right.
I got the Rams 35-20. Yeah, 35-20. It's going to feel a lot closer than the scoreboard says, but it's still not going to be good.
Yeah.
And then next week in Miami, if we play really well and the Dolphins not so hot, I could see us pulling off an upset. And then we come here, back to New England, and hopefully beat the shit out of the Colts.
Yeah. One last note quickly about the Patriots. Kyle Duggar's back to practice.
Very good. Very good. Need him back.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. We got you out of here at 4:27. Yep. Any final words, final thoughts for the good folks?
Yeah, stay safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. And let's hope we get a victory Wednesday next week.
Alrighty. This has been the Foxboro BeatCast, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe, follow the show, comment your thoughts, give me your picks. Do we say anything that could be relatively hot as it pertains to the Patriots? I don't know. But we'll see you all next week, hopefully on another Victory Wednesday where we upset the Los Angeles Rams. Go Pats. We'll see you next week.
Pats, baby. Salute.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.